Can you guys hear me? I think so. I think we're... Oh, an error has occurred. I think YouTube is pulling a fast one on me. Pulling a fast one. Thanks, Fat. I think you guys can hear me. Maybe? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. See, the problem is it's delayed. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Yeah, you guys should be able to hear me. Oh, okay, I muted myself. That was me. That was a test. You passed. Chat, you passed. Thank you. Now I know I can trust. I can't trust. What I was saying is yesterday I tweaked my back after I got done recording the video. Super tight lower left back and just agonizing pain. So if I cut this stream short, it's for that reason. Been doing some stretching. It's been helping. Also, last stream, bunch of comments saying I was angry, I was upset. It's my stream. Okay, I can be upset if I want to. And secondly, I was kind of sick. Wasn't in the best mood. But we're going to bring the heat this one. We're going to bring the A game. We go through some charts. What else was wild yesterday or last week? What's happened over the past week? Finally got a tradable setup. I think Link looks incredible here. Kind of hitting myself for not being long Link. I still think there's not an opportunity there to be long Link. Yeah, I hope it's not a slip disc. It's not sharp pain, it's a dull pain. And it was like, it came on after standing up from sitting, so hopefully not. You know, believe it or not, Berg, I have never imbibed in the devil's lettuce. I had an ex-girlfriend who was obsessed with it. Never got involved with it myself. Yeah, Keith. No coughing or sneezing for me. The back is the worst because it's just continuous, you know? It always reminds you. I haven't had a booster in a long time, Joey. Calm down. All these people, so-and-so got sick after the booster, so-and-so had a stroke. You realize people have heart attacks and strokes for all sorts of reasons unrelated to boosters of vaccines. I'm not calling Joey out, but I'm just saying, like, it's a little bit ridiculous. It's kind of like the plane thing, right? The door fell off the plane, and the next week or two, all we saw was these, like, headlines about every little thing regarding planes. I'm sure it's some sort of, like, bias. I don't know. Interesting. So I have a list of junk that Andrews gave at the open. If anybody wants me to look at anything towards the end, we will get there. We will get to it. So I opened up Trueflation last night, and I had to quadruple check this. I checked this on multiple browsers. I was on mobile. I was on desktop. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes. For those of you who don't know, it's a real-time estimation of inflation. They have all of their categories listed. You can go through and see each one. This is a year-over-year number. It is not purchasing power. Purchasing power is still, you know, you're still lost out kind of a quarter of your purchasing power. I get it. Okay, everybody's pissed. Prices are high. They're not coming down. I get it. This isn't deflationary, but if the Fed wants to cut, and yesterday the journalists really raked him over the coals for saying, look, okay, PCE is down, CPI is down. Where's the level? What do you, he said he's not going to cut in March. I think he is going to cut in March, personally. I hope the market prices out the cuts in March because the market's almost always wrong leading up to it. They're correct 100% of the time, like 10 days out, but leading up to it, they are usually wrong. So if the CPI number comes in next month at what, like it's going to be like 2.8 for January, something like that. Still pretty high relative to, it's 2x trueflation. Anyway, so we're getting there. The February print for inflation could be extremely low. Then there's this other case that the February print, by the way, I'm sure is before the March meeting, which is on the 20th. All that is to say, look, there's a lot of time between the number of data points we're going to get between now and March 20th. There's this other thought, this other camp that says, we don't need to cut. We're not super restrictive. Again, that's fine. It's really not like about what we think. It's about what the Fed thinks is appropriate for a real rate. If they think the real rate is interest rates minus inflation, if they think the real rate is appropriate, then they're going to keep it. If they think inflation is going to come back, they're going to keep rates where they are. The problem is they were slow to raise rates. I don't have the data on here on trueflation, but they were super slow to raise rates, right? Just incredibly slow. And it took them a while to get their crap together, right? So my guess is they're going to be slower to cut. Then there's the election year conspiracy theory people. There's all this stuff going around. It's data. If the data's coming down, they're going to cut. So I think if I had to bet today, I'd bet that they cut because I think the next two CPI prints are going to be down. I think the jobs numbers will be quiet tomorrow, NFP. So I'm still optimistic for a cut, not because we're weak, but because the real rate is too high relative to where they want it to be. But again, that's up to them. That's up to them, right? I see Ro Jogan making fun of my orange jumpsuit. This is actually a different orange. I got this in Quebec, or Quebec, as they say. I bartered them down for a couple bottles of maple syrup. That's a true story. Anyway, DXY has a inverted head and shoulders. The reason this is important, just like watching Bitcoin for alt trades, watching DXY for risk on, that's the entire basket of legacy and Bitcoin and alts. We don't do well when DXY is screaming, okay? So you really have to hope if you're long Bitcoin, and there's so much nuance here because people are going to hear me say, I think we're going to 35 or 38, and people are going to hear me say, I think we might go to 50, okay? So we got to dance in between the raindrops a little bit here. I think there's room for a move higher in the ultra near term. We're talking like the next week. But I think ultimately the path is probably going to be down. Probably. I'm currently long. I'm in a long. I'm looking to be longer. Just kind of waiting. Really the biggest decision for me Friday is like, do I want to open a bit X long and hold that? That's the 2x ETF. Anyway, so DXY looks like it wants to reverse higher. And if that's the case, we almost certainly break down on the risk side, most likely. So you got to be careful of DXY potentially strengthening here. Then you've got this regional bank issue, which we can look at that, I guess, but regional banks are not happy right now. And they're kind of bleeding off. So I don't think that's bullish for DXY because I think that assumes we're going to intervene, right? I'd have to look at BTFP and what happened with DXY there, but that's something else to consider. So again, like it's kind of, I'm bullish enough on the Bitcoin chart that I think we have room on low time frames, but we have to dodge this realistically if we don't want to fall off a cliff on high time frames, which is totally fine either way. You know, if you're trading this and honest about it, you just want to be on the correct side of that trade, right? I don't care. Let's go up, let's go down. I know eventually we're going up, but as long as you're on the right side of that trade, what do you really care, right? So Yada, I agree. The double top inflation callers are wrong. So far, look, we have real-time data. If the real-time data starts to pick up, sure. If energy starts to pick up, sure. If we've got peace in the Middle East, energy is probably coming down. Which there's rumors that there's peace talks going on right now. So that would be good for everybody. Was it the first time they edited their message? I don't think so. The Fed edits the minutes, not the minutes, but the statement. They edit it slightly every meeting. This was one of the bigger edits that I think has happened in a long time, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Higher for longer until all doubt is removed. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You know, the other thing is like we're looking at this real-time data, and I fear that they are not. I get it. They want to look at 3, 6, 12-month smoothed data. But the risk here is that we are potentially too tight and we go from a soft landing to a hard landing because we're not navigating that appropriately. Potentially, you know, look, I'm a nobody, but if we're hitting the goals and we're not taking a little bit off the table here, then that could be a problem. And you know, as the doomers are, you know, there's this great account Macro Edge on Twitter. He tweets out like every 10 people that get laid off from any company, he tweets it out, which is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. It's just funny to see like, you know, 50 people from some no-name tech company got laid off today. Like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? You know, it's just funny. But the rate is compared to last year. Yeah, look, everything is year over year. The CPI basket has changed. The Trueflation basket is not the CPI basket. There's PCE, there's core PCE, there's all these things you could look at and justify. It's just a matter of like, what do they actually care about? Do they care about jolts? Do they care about the jobs, data? Arguably, based on who's at the Fed, they're going to care about the employment numbers more than the inflation numbers. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I think it's like you kind of say, it has to be screaming at them to want to cut. So as not dovish, I don't think he was hawkish, Powell, yesterday, or yeah, yesterday. I think he's going to be more dovish in March than he was this meeting, just because we're getting a ton of data points between now and then. Maple syrup is delicious. Stimmies and student loans buy your vote, huh? Josh is the man. Okay, thank you. And Andranik. Yeah, seasonality, I have a thing for that. I'm just catching up on chat here, guys. Bob, left translated cycle theory. That's relative to the Bitcoin stuff, right? I think, here's what I think. I think everybody, not you good people in chat, but I think everybody broadly is fading the ETF flows so hard that they don't realize like what's about to come down the pipe with flows. This is the single most bullish thing that's ever happened to crypto. Okay, so like buckle up, because if these flows, like I don't really care about GBTC. This is each day since the ETFs have been trading. GBTC as a percentage is shrinking considerably. Okay, it's going to fade into irrelevancy here. This is really what we care about long term, is total BTC held by non-GBTC ETFs. That's only going to keep growing. The BTC outflows, I think, are still the most important to pay attention to. Those have slowed down considerably. They can continue in perpetuity, right? They can drain 100 million, 200 million for the next, what, like 3, 4, 6 months? I don't know. It doesn't really matter as long as the inflows make up for that. And or the general balance of things is just like so minor, it's not a big deal, right? You can see once we started to get net flows, you know, we start to hold prices a little easier. Let me pull up TradingView real quick. Fix this. But the TLDR here is, you know, GBTC is already fading itself into irrelevancy. And that's great. That's amazing. Because that's what we want to see. We don't want to see GBTC outflows running the show here. So yesterday's close was 42952. Let me just fill this in real quick. And so yesterday it felt like Powell's presser was the reason why things were as bearish as they were. You know, it wasn't flows, clearly, right? We had net inflows on that day, so you can't blame GBTC, right? Everything was down yesterday. So anyway, I think this looks great. This looks amazing. Going to continue to monitor this. And it's everything you'd want it to be, you know? Either GBTC empties itself quicker and we go down quicker price-wise, or it's just already over and, you know, it doesn't even matter at this point. But it's great to see total BTC held back above the January 17th all-time high. You know, this number should only continue to grow. We also saw today Coinbase announce fees coming down, and this was predicted by the ETF people that we'd see fee compression from the spot exchanges because they charge criminal percentage fees. This doesn't affect retail, unfortunately, I don't think. So those are the people that need the fee relief the most. It's one of the reasons why the ETFs are only going to continue to grow. If you're trading spot and you're not moving money around, right? If you don't need to physically hold the coins, the fees on the ETFs are so low, the management fees or whatever, that it doesn't even matter. The trading fees are zero, right? So why wouldn't you trade this with lower counterparty risk on a legacy exchange, or, you know, like Schwab or TDA or Fidelity, whatever else, right? Plus the tax advantage stuff. So there's just all these reasons why the ETFs are going to just continue to just get massive, absolutely massive. We finished January, sorry. February 1st, happy February. We finished January slightly positive on the month. February, historically, if we go down to the median numbers, it's about 12%, right? So February is a good month historically, which fits my bias of a potential move higher, you know. If you look at the S&P seasonality, there's like a February bump. You know, it closes flat seasonality-wise. March is not such a great month, and you see that even in the crypto seasonality. But February, you do get a mid-February move in seasonality. Quarterly, Q1 is muted typically, right? Q2 is where we see most of the action, along with Q4, which has just been a monster. So this is all great news for people who are long like me, you know, like it fits the bias, right? February was in line with, you know, not so great expectations. Typically that's because you've got tax considerations. I think March is also not great, partially because of tax considerations, even on the legacy side. You know, people are paying their taxes in April, obviously. But we look good. Flows look good. Seasonality looks good. March isn't going to be fun. Q2 is going to be fun. Having BTFP is ending in March. We've got the Fed meeting in March. We've got reverse repo probably being drained by March. So March should be interesting. March is a month to not get chopped up, but this month seasonality should be on our side for sure. As far as the Bitcoin chart, I haven't taken a trade since what, maybe the end of January. So it's been at least a month. And I think that's pretty justified based on the chop that we've seen. I think at this point, this is a good enough of a pattern, potentially, right? I don't want to celebrate too soon. I'm still underwater on my initial. I opened a partial before the FOMC meeting like an idiot, even though I told myself I wasn't going to do that. But it looked good. It had revisited that high at 43.3. Anyway, this could be a couple things. In the immediate near term, it could be an inverted head and shoulders, similar to the XY, right? But on a compressed time frame. It could be what's called an Adam left of an Adam and Eve. If it stalls out at 43.3, it could recover by making a giant U throughout February. Those lows typically matched the Adam left low. So you'd be looking at like 38, 39. The third possibility is this is the left shoulder of a broader inverted head and shoulders that would take us into April, right? It's way too early to call that. The first step would be a failure again at 43.3, which we're not there yet, but I'm slightly long at 43 something, I don't know. And I'm looking to add again at 43.3. I think this is a breakout trade. Volume's on your side. The pattern looks good enough. I don't know. Like, look, sitting this out until April probably makes the most sense, but I do think this is a tradable setup here. Stop loss for this would be any lower low. So, and currently that's around like 41.8, something like that. You don't want to see this making lower lows. Alternatively, if it does make lower lows and makes some sort of lower right shoulder, I'm going to trade that again at 43.3, right? I'm fine with getting like stopped out and adding again. That doesn't really bother me. But technically the pattern hasn't really completed yet, right? But we'll know at 43.3. A couple of the reasons why a lower low here would be bad. I'll get to that in a second on the daily, but on the 8 hour, we also have potential for this tiny edge to edge trade, right? Through the cloud. But the bigger picture on the 8 hour is the pattern may flip the cloud bullish. Again, this takes us into like end of day Friday. So, if you're trading legacy, it's kind of a crapshoot because you're going to have to get that order in potentially before the weekend if the move happens throughout the weekend. Maybe I'm too optimistic on the quickness that this is going to resolve itself. But anyway, 43.3 still the level. The 8 hour cloud looks good. You don't want lower lows on this because at that point you get the potential for the bearish edge to edge on the daily, which would be a bearish TK cross with a close in the cloud. So this has like a very thin window of success. I think it's still tradable. Again, I don't think it's like a must trade. I don't think it's like a great trade, but it's a trade that I'm taking. Okay. You're probably better off either taking some off the table or waiting for a bullish TK recross with price above cloud. I did a whole video on that. Because even on the alt side, right, if Bitcoin goes to 38 or 35, alts will get destroyed. Okay, alts will be down 20% across the board. So I know people are trading, people were all in Solana on the airdrop or they're doing whatever else. But I'm telling you right now, ETH will be down a significant amount. Everything's going to be very angry if this breaks down. So you got to be careful because it is at a potential inflection point where the risk for that is pretty high. If we look at the last daily setup where this happened, now we aren't post-halving. Again, I talked about this in the video earlier this week. We're not post-halving or pre-halving, I get it, but this whole setup right here from April to May, almost identical situation. We broke down into the cloud, didn't continue, and then failed at an inverted head and shoulders, is what this was on low time frames, and then broke down. So this is the nightmare fuel for anybody like me who's long, right? Your stop loss would have been midway through this candle, basically, because you're making a new lower low. So you definitely don't want to see that here, because that, I almost guarantee you, we will see a move to 38 or 35. And the other thing people are going to be yelling at me about, I will flip short if we close in the cloud. I'm ready. My body is ready. Okay. I just think in the moment, the long trade makes more sense. But yeah, if this closes in the cloud, let it burn, right? Let it go down. Alternatively, this could save itself. This was post-halving 2020, just as an example. TK crisscross on the daily. So those are really the two fractals, if you will, on the cloud to pay attention for. Even looking at this at that time in July, look at this massive cloud. We could have easily closed below 9,000 and went to 7. You know, we didn't because we were post-halving, just like we might not here because we've got ETFs on our side. Anyway, so that's why I'm long BTC. Now you've got the Wyckoff people, CryptoJack Live, give him a follow. The Wyckoff people are pretty convinced that this is going lower, which I'm not going to disagree with. I mean, yeah, this could definitely go lower. I just think it has a chance at holding at, what's the target? It's 46 to 48. That's a decent trade. It's a decent stop loss. It's a decent risk reward profile. Anyway, I'm just justifying my own trade at this point, but I think it looks good enough. Longer term, very possible, right? This is in line with the daily edge to edge lower. And this is another version of that distribution fractal from Bitcoin Schmitcoin. And you know, what we don't want to see is the signs of weakness below support, which arguably we've started to see already, right? So yeah, you know, there's going to be fireworks. It's going to be fireworks on the BTC side, one way or the other. Bitcoin down, alts up. I wish you luck with that trade. The one type of setup you would need for that is what we just had with the GBTC outflows, where someone is literally just fire sailing BTC only. If the ETH ETF gets approved, that's likely to happen with ETH as well, because ETH, FTX is a bunch of ETH, right? Here's Link. This is probably the best looking alt chart for me right now. 3 months consolidation, bullish TK crisscross with price above cloud. This looks phenomenal to me. I should be long this on leverage. I'm long spot, but I'm not long leverage. If you measure this out, 19 to 20, which at this point isn't like a massive percentage trade, but I think the chart looks great. You know, it survived potentially breaking down. I don't know if this is a Wyckoff accumulation. I have no idea, but looks really good. To help this trade, Link BTC looks incredible. I mean, this is like a textbook. This looks painted, you know? It's like something you'd see when you're reading a book on chart patterns. This is what you'd see. I like that the volume's already started to pick up. I like that it's broke the horizontal. It looks good. It looks really good from every angle. And this is definitely one of the better alt charts. Everything I talked about yesterday in the alt video doesn't look so hot. Almost universally across the board, alts look like junk against BTC right now. Um, how many stinkies do I have? I don't know, not that much. Liquidated Soul. Yeah, I'm curious what those charts look like. We'll bring those up in a second here. Just because generally I don't think much else matters. If Links looks good, we're doomed. Why? Link has moved. You know, it was in that consolidation. Where'd I put my? I gotta find my tab. Anyway, Link was in that consolidation for months and months and months. I think it broke out first, right? I don't know. I think it looks good. I think everything looks good. No issues whatsoever. Yeah, that's Link. Let me find, hold on, let me find my other tab real quick. I can look at everything else. All right, let's look at ETH. We'll go down the list. Almost everything looks like just hot garbage. I don't think ETH is tradable until ETH has people doing stuff with it. There are so many people who are just bag holding this and staking, which is fine, but that's not how ETH goes up, right? ETH goes up because of ICOs, because of DeFi, because of NFTs, because people are doing stuff with it. If we look at the daily ETH cloud, it's just as bearish as the BTC cloud. You know, you're going to get your bearish TK cross. This whole thing, by the way, you know, you tell me what this looks like. Not happy, I can tell you that. What is this measured to? 17, 18, basically back to the breakout. It doesn't look like anything I want to touch here at all. You've got Celsius selling, you've got Celsius distributing, as well as BTC, right? They're distributing BTC. All of that needs to work its way through the system because, you know, nobody's really doing anything with ETH at the moment. I would argue the layer 2s are eating ETH's lunch. Solana is eating ETH's lunch. That's where retail is at, right? Look at in this specific chat. So many people are talking about Solana and Solana airdrops, Solana dexes. Is anybody talking about Uniswap or Sushi or Aave? No, I don't see it. You know, no one's really there. So until the narrative shifts, I think ETH is just going to have a very hard time doing anything, right? You know, the retail people are like, sorry, just got like a shooting back pain. The retail people are like locusts, you know, they will go wherever there's the most meat on the bone fee wise, and that's not ETH right now. So I don't know what to tell people, right? It's still in the weekly cloud. It looks okay. It'll have its day. It's just very challenging for it to do anything here, you know? I really hope. So Peter Brandt posted this like weeks ago and he stopped himself out. But, you know, it would be kind of hilarious if ETH hits the weekly cloud like this and then just sells off. Right? Like, you know, it should bounce here. Maybe into halving. And then you get the, when is the ETF approval? I don't know. It's in this window, May, June, July. And then this goes to like 50%, right? That would honestly make a lot of sense to me because of the ETH sales. So that's something to watch for. That'd basically be back to like 1870 post ETH ETF approvals, you know. But you guys tell me, what are people doing ETH? What are people doing with ETH? I couldn't tell you. Besides staking, I have no idea. I just don't see any activity there broadly, right? It's just too expensive. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing redeemable on this chart, right? Even on the 8-hour, it doesn't look great until it's above 2,400. Then it might be in the free and the clear, but you know, this daily is going to need to crisscross. And I just know there are so many people holding ETH, just waiting, right? They're just waiting for the price to go higher. It's kind of crowded, I think, right? There's a lot of ETH in circulation that's getting unlocked via whatever, FTX, Celsius. And there's a lot of people who are kind of already sitting in this, expecting this to move. I don't know. Yeah, the ETH is sound money people are hilarious. You know, there's specific, it's kind of like the Tesla crowd. There's clearly specific perma ETH bulls on Twitter that I see bubble up. And I just, you know, I wish them luck. We might see it one day. Post Bitcoin having post ETH ETF approval. Sure. You know, you'll be happy as a pig in slop, ETH to 10K, whatever. The problem with that is on the ETH BTC side, you know, you're just losing so much. I do not expect this to be bullish. I just don't. You cannot convince me that more people are going to be buying the ETH ETF than Bitcoin. You just can't. Especially if it's not staking. Technicals for ETH BTC bearish on the weekly cloud. It's, you know, I was bullish on it when it broke above a cloud on the daily, but it didn't hold that. I thought this would continue. It looked like it wanted to, but yeah, I don't know. Chart's cursed. It does not look bullish. Looks like a massive M double top. I like lower. I know there are a ton of people bag holding this, which makes it all the more sweeter because, you know, they are expecting this to move higher eventually, and they just keep losing money as it grinds lower. Sorry. Royal. All right, what is Royal? Royal wrote 3 sentences. Let's take a look. I don't get why literally everybody on CT is posting since months that they are bidding ETH, but it's literally flat. What that mean? Only Giga Whales can send it. Or does it mean CT only paper trading? Yeah, I think most people talking about bidding ETH are very small in their size. Okay. I don't think they are, I don't think they're whales, personally. Thoughts on Nvidia? Yeah, we'll look at that. Nvidia's got an abandoned baby chart pattern, on the candlestick pattern rather, which is a fun one. Is Celsius still selling? Yeah, they're selling, they're distributing. There were a ton of ETH moves in circulation. Yeah, that's the thing, DZ. Like, look, I think Sol is a hunk of junk. Okay, it's centralized garbage. But so is BNB. So is BNB. It doesn't matter if you're retail. All you want is a place to trade meme coins and shitcoins and super low fees and a super fast chain. You do not care about decentralization whatsoever. Let's be honest here. If you're retail. Sol on the weekly should eventually work its way through the cloud. I just think most of that trade is over on the weekly. You know, you're fine sitting in it, but based on the trend, it needs some time for sure. If we look at the daily cloud, much like BTC, anything long from 25, 22, the cloud is telling you to close up here. We did have a bit of a falling wedge breakout, you know, kind of mixed signals here, but ultimately the cloud, to me, is going to be your best estimator of trend strength. So it's telling you close here, potentially reopen, right? If the TK crisscross scenario, I don't know if does Solana have that on the daily? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think there's actually an example of it on the daily. So this is my, I prefer to see this. I prefer to see a complete reset of the daily signals. Then there's no doubt about it, right? Cloud flipped from bullish to bearish to bullish. TK cross flipped from bearish to bullish. Price went from above the cloud to below the cloud to above the cloud, right? So the next long trade that you want to take in earnest is always going to be stuff like this. I mean, that is textbook cloud. But yeah, on the daily, no bullish TK recrosses historically for Solana that I see. Anyway, could still happen. A chart I haven't looked at. Sol ETH. Also looks about the same as Sol USD. It's telling you hop out, maybe hop back in later. But that run on the cloud is over for now. The next run would be, like I just said, bearish TK, crisscross into bullish, and then a potential cloud situation. I just don't think ETH outperforms Sol even. Like what's the justification? Nobody's there, I don't know. Looks fine. Looks really good. Exactly, Zoltar. Solana is the perfect chains for degens. Definitely. Let me go through this list. Begrudgingly, I will look through this list. I don't know the best data for WIF. WIF is clearly a pump and dump meme coin that nobody should touch for any reason, just to be clear. You can trade anything with the chart. I get it. But this isn't investing. This is gambling, which is fine. Again, I'm not angry about it. Do whatever you want with your money. I don't care. Is there an actual chart with more data? This looks like it, maybe. It's classically you just read this as a double top. Not that I'm looking for reasons to be bearish. It's at support. You may, over time, see something like that, and then a breakdown. It's not for me, okay? So I'm gonna have a hard time finding things that are bullish here. You're on an ultra low time frame already. The signals are gonna be mixed and all over the place. It doesn't look bullish to me. MEXC has a better... No, that looks like the most data. I guess it did just come out. Mav. So yesterday, let's just go to this real quick. So yesterday, Monero BTC was up 4%, thereabouts, which is odd. It was one of the few coins on the day that was up. And you always wonder, like, is this some stolen money, basically, like working its way through the system? I don't know. I don't think necessarily it has to be that, but when Monero is up, and then you're seeing all these coins on like MEXC or wherever else that are up on the day, you gotta wonder. This looks like non-organic Ponzi scheme type activity. Does anybody know what this is? NAV? Is it it was Dave. Okay, my bad. It was Dave buying, guys. It was Dave buying. What's up, Tyga? This looks like they're buying back the token, or there's some sort of scheme here. There's something going on. Not because it's bullish, but it just looks, it doesn't look real, right? So I would be careful. Yes, I got rid of the mullet. My barber was sick, Then we had really bad weather, so they were closed. And then I was sick, so my haircut got put off for like a month. Yeah, exactly, DZ. It looks like bot activity. It doesn't look organic. Doesn't mean you can't trade it. I'm just saying, look, it doesn't look organic. Tau was the other one that was up on the day. I don't know the best exchange. It's an immediate red flag, right? It just is. Like, it's not listed on Kraken, Coinbase. It's always, I call these like the rug my bit exchanges. Like the highest risk, lowest KYC. Like people gravitate towards this stuff because that's where they love to gamble. I get it. I'm not gonna knock it, but it's a sign, right? Immediately. What's up, Stack? Anyway, this chart looks good. Somebody was talking about cult behaviors on this on Twitter. I don't know nothing about it. 527 to 607 would be the target. It looks plenty bullish on the cloud, right? This I think I mentioned this on the video yesterday. This is what you want to see on every single other chart, right? You had the bearish TK cross, you had the bullish TK cross with the Kumo breakout. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see on everything else. So hopefully this is telling the future. Like Rune was another one that was a early mover, right? Rune was up in August. Like Rune woke up the market, right? Arguably. It clearly didn't, but it was one of the first movers. Even Rune is still struggling here, right? In the cloud, below the cloud. I'd be more bullish on Rune if it looked like Tau, okay. But again, you got to be careful with the super risky alts. But Tau looks good. This I wouldn't touch until things reset, right? This is why I love the cloud. You can just pull up a thing and say you're looking for like 4 things max, right? Looks great down the road, right? Looks terrible here, but what you want to see is this. You want to see the TK crisscross like that. That's classic cloud stuff right there. So the chart looks good. The recovery consolidation says higher. It's just, you got to be careful. Render. This was another AI. This one's at least listed on Coinbase. Similar, right? Similar to Tau. It's got the, as I'm like in the top right corner, bearish TK cross, soon bullish TK cross. And kind of like Bitcoin in mid 2020, right? We had this recovery. You had a little bit of a trend, let's call it, and then, things reset again. So there's no guarantee that you're going to see mega continuation. Sorry. Oh, my back. No guarantee, but it just says, look, now's the time to get back in, right? But looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Something else even here, right? You had a head and shoulders. I don't really see that here. If anything, there's kind of a double bottom play that it already happened, but again, it's a good sign. It's a good sign for other stuff that something's breaking out somewhere, right? Link is up. Chat thinks that's bad. I think that's good. Render, some other super risky shitcoins are up. This even retested the breakout. Ancient history at this point, but looks good. Looks good. Sui, that was one against BTC that I think looked good. Pretty old. What do I got on here? Some sort of old channel. Clearly went to the stratosphere. This was one of those ones a couple months ago where I was talking like, you know, this is a newer chain that I don't think anybody uses or has heard of. Like, has anybody in chat heard of Sui? I'll put it a different way. Do you use this chain for anything? I don't know. I haven't seen or heard anybody using it. It doesn't matter. I get it, but it helps. Okay. The chart looks incredible. Looks a little parabolic. You know, it is kind of rising fast. So I'd be careful there. But yeah, I mean, it looks fine, you know. Do I think this has much more left in it? I don't know. It's up 300% from the lows. I don't know who uses this. Apt is another one. Like, what do these chains do? I don't know. Is Sui AI? I don't know. I don't know. Sui's getting a lot of whales parking USDT. Well, there you go. Yeah, we can look at coin. Yeah, I got a ton of cloud videos on the channel. Velo, Adam, Asmo, Stargaze. Oh man, don't tell me. Anyway, so you know, it's the same. It's literally the same thing on every chart that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a bullish TK cross with price above cloud. You don't have that yet here. Not that anyone asked me to look at this chart, but just as an example. Pith. Looks okay, you know, like it's trending up. It is above a low time frame cloud. I don't hate it. Generally, anything that's, you know, convex, I always screw that up. Anything that looks like a bowl is generally bullish. Anything that looks like this is generally bearish, right? It's the same reason. Yeah, we can go to Nvidia. Wow, Nvidia is past the consolidation target. How wild is that? It's the same reason stuff like Nvidia, you know, any cup and handle or anything that looks remotely like that is generally bullish. What a chart on Nvidia. What a wild chart. I had the range consolidation on here, but you know, it broke out. It actually, you know, as we're talking about bullish TK crosses, the cloud was perfect here. Let's go to let's go to the legacy cloud before I get too excited. The legacy cloud got you in and out of this perfectly. Perfectly. This is exactly what you want to see on crypto, right? This whole range arguably was just giant slop, you know? Like I don't think there was a pattern here. You know, it tried to be head and shoulders, it didn't. It tried to be an inverted head and shoulders. I don't know. I don't think there's anything here per se, but the cloud knew what was going on. At this point, it is past its target already, which is crazy. It's at a yearly pivot. What does RSI say? RSI starting to get bearish on low time frames. You can't short this. You just can't, because, you know, it can just keep going. There is this like triple top potential here, but you can't short it. You shouldn't ever really short anything at all-time highs unless you're super sure. You know, you got to be careful of this down the road into mid-February probably. So maybe it's shortable at 609. Maybe. But you just can't short it here, you know. You just can't. regardless of fundamentals, because Lord knows people have tried to short this thing for 2 years probably at this point, and they've gotten carted off. Even I tried to short somewhere down here and got out of it, thankfully. But yeah, no, you can't short that. Looks insane, absolutely insane. There's one other thing I was gonna say with this. Can't remember, but the TLDR is the Kijun, the daily Kijun. You know, this would be potentially a level. I don't know. It's just, it's so wildly overbought that, you know, the retracement targets are going to be pretty low. The TLDR cloud-wise is perfect. The cloud was perfect. Absolutely perfect. It never told you to short because it never got below the cloud. I was shorting it because I thought I was pretty convinced that it must have been here, right? Must have been here. I was pretty convinced that it was a head and shoulders. I talked about it on some video, right? And it didn't want to break down. So that's that. And typically when you see a failed reversal pattern, you see the opposite reaction, right? So instead of drawing fib extensions down, you just draw it up. Crazy chart. Absolutely crazy chart. You know, trade this over any of the nonsense that I just looked at altcoin wise. Before we go deeper into legacy, let me look at some more crypto charts. What's the best? I know this literally just launched like yesterday. My number one rule with airdrops is you either hold it for like 2 years or you sell it immediately and forget about it. You know, an example for me was 1 inch. So this doesn't look, you know, look, you've got no trading data. It doesn't look super bullish. Maybe you're hoping for an Adam and Eve double bottom here. But realistically, what you're hoping for is bullish Solana prices, massive DEX activity, right? That's really what you're hoping for here. Like, who cares what this is in the moment? You're hoping for activity on Solana, right? One example for me personally was 1 inch, maybe Bitfinex? I don't even know. What would have the best data? Didn't they airdrop this like on Christmas Day or something? Yeah. Yeah, so I forget where I sold. It was somewhere here, probably. This chart does not look good, by the way. It looks like a head and shoulders down here. Anyway, so you either sell it and never look back, or you just hold it and hope for the best, right? You know, the opposite for me is ENS, where I'm just holding that. It's down pretty significantly from the airdrop, but I just didn't care. This is probably the most, well, I guess Binance. Looks okay. Doesn't look great. You know, it was up a bunch. It was up a bunch a while back because Vitalik was talking about it. But this is generally your fate on any airdrop. You're bound to people selling this thing nonstop, right? So unless it's something like ARB, something with hopefully a use case or a reason to do anything with it, right? Like that in my mind has a chance as an airdrop. This, by the way, you know, you don't need to tell me what this looks like. I don't need to tell you what this looks like to me. Okay. Doesn't look good. but still, this is also an airdrop, right? I think I don't know the numbers exactly as we're going through the ETH beta. We're just bouncing around. We're having fun. See, low to high is on the same bandwagon as me. We're simpatico here. You get the airdrop, you sell it immediately. You say, "Thank you, sir. Thank you for the $8,000 or whatever." On the ENS airdrop, for example. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think the airdrops are generally tradable, right? Like, look at a classically stellar, huge airdrop for many, many years. I was hoping to pull up the Poloniex chart. So they had airdropped this thing. I don't remember where they stopped airdropping this in a big way, but can we just have AI make indices for all of these charts at this point? Anyway, I don't know where they stopped airdropping this thing, but kind of like Ripple, it just hasn't gone anywhere. Massive airdrop. Yeah, Sui I looked at. All right, we got a few more. Sorry, Jasmine. Oh boy, oh boy. This it's consolidating. If you're a range trader, you're selling the highs and buying the lows. If you're like me, you're buying strength above resistance, buying the breakout essentially. Pretty crazy setup on the weekly. if I don't think this is going to happen, so don't, I wouldn't trade this, but if this edge to edge plays out, so what, a 3,000% move. So look, maybe you set an alert on this thing. I'll do that for me. Okay. I don't know what value this is because a penny. We set an alert at a penny on the horizontal, and ignore it until then. That's what I'm doing. It does look like hood, right? I know I talk about this like I don't have any hood anymore. I have none. Okay, but if you're looking to go dumpster diving on something, these are the types of charts where eventually something happens for whatever reason. There's going to be news. There's going to be retail stimulation via money, airdropped helicopter. Okay, whatever. There's going to be a reason why this chart goes up. Do they get acquired? I don't know. It's worth putting on the watch list. The cloud is filling in finally, and it's been 3 years of nothing, right? I'm sure there are other tech companies that are similar, but this is crypto adjacent, so I think it has a shot at doing something. But there is a massive opportunity cost for buying right now and just holding this realistically, right, until like Q4. Q4 is when I think hood has a shot, and not a day before that. But it looks okay. Yeah, that's the other thing, Royal. ARK is buying this thing. ARK is another one that, same thing. I don't think ARK does well until rates come down. And not a day before then, right? Like this consolidation looks like a reversal. But again, into 2025 if rates are down. So I would not bag hold this thing now, but there's a time and a place, just like there's a time and a place to trade altcoins. It's going to take some time. Coin, actually I haven't looked at this in a couple days. I was hoping to get 110. Still might get 110. This, along with everything else, is telling you on the cloud, get out, stay out. If you're in from 84, you're out here. If you're not already out, If you're a long-term bull run person, you don't really care what the price is until, you know, a year from halving, realistically. This chart could easily run, I don't know, 500 plus. Like, it just depends on how crazy things get with the ETFs, with the fees, with trading volume. Does retail stick around? I don't know. So long term, April 2025, right? Like this chart is probably going to be higher, April 2025. So, you know, do you want to wait for 110 or less? Do you really care if you're a long-term holder? Are you going to get potentially a better buy lower? Probably. But it's not screaming bullishness just yet. This also has earnings coming up, doesn't it? Is it next week? I don't know when I took the earnings thing off here, but it's February 15th is earnings for Coinbase. So that'd be something to watch. But technicals don't look super hot right now. Okay, a few more. If you guys want me to look at anything, just let me know. Probably going to tap out here soon. Oh man, I don't think there's any data. Wind moon. Yeah, I don't know what exchange to go look for this, unfortunately. I guess this is it. Just listed. I have no idea. Doesn't look bullish, right? Sorry, win enjoyer. Velo looks okay. Huge Adam and Eve on this puppy, right? Anything above whatever that is, penny and a half, it's probably go time. Doesn't look horrible. Gotta be patient with that one. Yeah, win 0. Ha! Velo looks okay. Adam had been ranging. I can't remember if I must have drawn this after it happened, but it did bottom at the, I didn't trade this obviously. It did bottom after the bullish bat completed. You know, it's range bound, no momentum, nothing going on here. Adam just has a lot of, I know they dropped the inflation, didn't they? But Adam has a lot of coin issuance. That's an issue, clearly. Not something I would hold here personally. I think it needs time. Yeah, Dave, if, you know, look, if Bitcoin holds 50s, whatever, you know, it doesn't even need to go up. If Solana breaks 120, Bonk, you know, all this stuff's going to do well. I don't think Bonk looks super hot right at the moment. Let's take a look. Yeah, Bonk to me is like, you know, it's like a ball bouncing downstairs, right? You know, it's like it hit the landing on the stairs and it's waiting to drop down the next flight of stairs. Not something I'm bullish on here, you know. Like I said on the way up, if you got your 5,000%, how much more do you really want? I don't know. Does not look bullish to me. What else we got? Osmo. Kind of looks like it's at the end of the run for the moment. You know, it's starting to get in the cloud again. Again, everything's like resetting, so it's not like gonna be screaming bullish continuation. How's Ray doing? My favorite trade that I never took. Same as everything else, just kind of flat. This chart, man. You know, I know a lot of people got in this at like 30 cents. I don't know if I'd hold it up here, but what a move. What a move. Yeah, do I have the wrong velo? I don't think so. Hold on, the Stargaze thing, and then we'll look at the last couple here. Stargate? Maybe they meant Stargate. I don't think they meant this. That chart looks like garbage, so I don't think they meant that. I think they meant Stargate. Really? Stargate also doesn't look bullish. Just range chop, head and shoulders below the cloud. Nothing I would touch. All you guys got to do, just buy Bitcoin, DCA, do something else with your life, you know. I'm just saying. That's not anger, by the way. I'm just saying you're better off, in a winning trade. Pepe looks not super happy. It potentially has like this falling wedge going on. You know, maybe it's also funny how over the years, part of the reason I'm so salty looking at garbage altcoins is, do you know how many alts I've seen come and go? Being here for 10 years, do you know how many alts I've seen? It's like seeing the movie over and over. It's literally Groundhog's Day. It's Groundhog's Day. You know, I remember when people were going nuts over this coin, and I'm just like, guys, I don't know. You know, it looks like range chop. The same thing with Ordi or any other trash, right? I mean, this is not something in the moment that looks bullish. Doesn't mean that can't change, but you know, nonsense. Well, I don't know how I got these scars exactly, Joey. Exactly. Somebody mentioned it, so I'm curious. BSV. I haven't looked at this chart in a minute. Binance? Where is this even still trading? Does not look happy. I agree, Mustafa. It's just kind of not aggravating, it's just tiring, you know? It's like everybody thinks this coin is going to be the coin. I get it. Look, I get it. Give me a like, give me a dislike, all that stuff. Is Groundhog's Day tomorrow? No, it's not. Is it? Yeah, but this time, guys, it's different. This time, Bitcoin Gold is the trade. This time, you just wait. Bitcoin Gold is going to get an ETF. I looked at Sui Goku. I said it looked good, you know? It looks fine. I don't know who uses it or why. People are saying whales are transferring USDC or whatever. Sorry, there's a few more. People fighting in the chat. The shitcoinery is overflowing. in the chat and people are going at it. AKT. Oh, AKT. I must. Looks like I was drawing some head and shoulders stuff, and it has played out so far. I mean, I know I've said this on this chart probably before, but you know, take it as a blessing that you've gotten whatever percentage you've gotten on this chart up until this point. It's successfully had reaccumulation, breakout patterns, you know, triangle, cup and handle. Up here, it looks weak to me. So I would be careful up here. But it may have a day in it yet eventually down the road. It's just up here, it looks a little weak, head and shoulders-y, right? And it also hit the cup and handle target. So I'd be careful with that one. In the moment. Yeah, we can look at NDX. We're just going all over the place. We are flopping around like a fish. The recording enjoyers are going to be livid. But the timestamps will not be there because this is untimestampable. I don't know, man. You know, it looks fine because of the broader, you know, mega pattern that it's in. Obviously, this is like a massive wall of worry, and this could all come crumbling down. We've got Meta earnings after the bell. We've got Alphabet, I think, too. Google after the bell. You could probably measure this as a 3 drives here. 1, 2, 3. RSI is not exactly happy with you here. There's a bear div on that recent high. I don't know. I'm optimistic personally, but yeah, this could easily retrace a little bit more. But broadly, I think it looks fine. Trade. Right off the bat, looks like a rising wedge to me a little bit. Clearly broke out of its range. What's the range target? Way past the range target. I would be careful up here. You know, it's got classic bear div, higher highs, triple top, quad top, bearish DK cross. You know, again, the cloud's going to save you, telling you where to get in, where to get out. The move's not going to happen without you. Was a great trade at 11 up here. Not so much. Not so much. Seam. What did you say? Hold on. Who requested this? What did this guy say about Seam? OBV divs, Cloud hates it, but the divs. So I'll agree. I'll agree with you that there is a div here. You're getting lower lows in price, higher lows in RSI. The problem is not a lot of trading history. Divs alone are not going to save you. You know, this could bottom out. I think the best case for this thing is just to go sideways for another couple weeks. It looks like it's getting close to maybe having another, you know, kind of similar to this, where it's like gets excited for a day and then sells off again. Is this the Bitfinex Telegram thing? I can't remember what this is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. Put it that way. You know. Pendle. This was another one that I said there's got to be some sort of like, bot activity, right? Somebody's stepping in and buying this over and over again, Same thing up here. Again, the better trade was down here. Up here, it's okay. It doesn't look like an entry to me. Base token DEX swap. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, again, any of the DEX tokens are going to do best when there's activity, Ray, Osmo. What was the one that was just Jupiter, right? Seam, all that stuff. You really want to see activity. So, price can do whatever it wants to do now. It doesn't really matter. What matters is when people come back and start trading, does that help price or not? Matic is, against Bitcoin specifically, it's dangerously hanging out at the lows, and it's got a long drop. So that's what worries me the most about Matic. On the USD side, we had talked about the Adam and Eve, but, it's a ranging mess is what it is. Again, not an entry, not even in the weekly cloud. I just feel bad for people because I know they're holding on to this stuff. They're probably holding on to this stuff and have been holding on for a little while. And I just feel bad because I'm not giving them good news, It's like, I'm sorry, you do have cancer, right? like that's the type of message I'm sending here. Doesn't look great. Here we go. Here's a Forex chart. USD MXN, affectionately known as Taco, I believe. Now, if that's a derogatory term, let me know. But I think the biggest thing to affect this would be Trump getting elected, right? This was Trump losing in 2020? No. Yeah, this had to have been, right? Anyway, it looks like it is setting up for a double bottom for sure, right? Just needs probably another 2 months to decide, but looks like it's trying to bottom, which would be, what is that, bullish for USD? But yeah, it looks like it's trying to bottom. Mike, I agree. Tacos are life, but when you're talking about somebody's national currency, I don't know, But yeah, it looks like a double bottom. Looks like it's trying to double bottom. All right, we'll do these last few, and then we'll wrap it up. Just because my back is being my back. Gonna do some stretches. Tia. How did so many people get into this thing? Anyway, I never know where people find this stuff. I always hear about it. Like, I'm not looking for it. Is it TikTok? Is it? I don't know. Anyway, it looks okay. It's clearly got some sort of, whatever that is, log regression, something. I don't know. Like, in the moment, it looks like the bulk of the move happened. That's my read on this. Kind of momentumless, flattening out here. It doesn't look turbo bearish, but again, show me what people are doing with this, and then I can better understand. Wait, does this have a use case that people are bridging something somewhere? I don't know. That helps at least, Mola, is that a biotech company, potentially? Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Now that is a shitcoin chart. It's not. It's a biotech company. But, that's the chart you want to trade. not something that's going down and to the right. Look at this thing. It's clearly parabolic. It's clearly getting to a point where you got to be careful. But that's a chart. It never, hold on, let's use the right cloud here. It never actually tapped the Kijun. It broke out in 2020 and never looked back. Chart looks phenomenal. A great lesson in riding the trend, you know. The cloud says this thing looks great. Looks phenomenal. You just got to be careful that, you know, at some point RSI is going to tap out, as it's kind of tapping out here. It's got potentially a bear div. It's got potentially a rising wedge on low time frames, but you know, that trend is amazing. Whatever this is about to be. Speaking of parabolic, how's this looking? This is Meta. Kind of tapping out on that parabolic curve. Yeah, Goku, I get it. T is used for modularity. You know, we talked about this earlier. There's always a reason. Show me that it's being used. Show me there's got to be data on chain behind that, right? Like, show me the data. Show me that people are issuing ordinals, and I'll say, yeah, okay, then it's relevant. But you know, I get it. It's like Santa Claus. Just because it's not there doesn't mean I don't believe. But I'm just saying I haven't seen the data. Okay. Yeah, Meta earnings after the bell. All right, last one as I'm winding down here, trying not to wince super hard, writhing in pain. Wasn't this going bankrupt? Virgin Galactic? Space? This is not, chart looks horrible, obviously. Not something I would touch. People stake TIA and the other protocols that use modularity tech airdrop coins to TIA. Oh, okay, so it's UBI. If people would just say UBI, then I get it. I get UBI. Everybody loves free money. That makes a lot of sense. It's like Solana, right? Some guy was arguing with me. I said, you know, Solana could go to 32. There's a planet where if Bitcoin breaks down, okay, if Bitcoin breaks down to 35, 32 might be a little aggressive. I'll give him that. But I think Solana and some of this other stuff breaks down pretty significantly. 52 would probably make more sense, but the yearly pivot is at even 52 is aggressive. Jesus. I was thinking like 20%. 20% is like in the 70s. What's the daily cloud? Yeah, I mean the daily cloud. I don't know. It's maybe 32 is a little much. Okay, I'll give him that. But 50s are possible. You know, these alts could give up their gains extremely quickly. I mean, you want to talk about, like, you know, bonk? Where could bonk go if this breaks down? I think bonk 50% easy. So maybe 60. Maybe I'm not bearish enough. BTC was just at 38 and Sol went to 78. And look, when things get bearish, things get ugly. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got. How's Bitcoin doing? 43.1. We'll take it. We'd take those, chat. We take those. That's my best trade idea besides Link. Pretty much everything else I looked at is junk. Anything else I didn't look at is junk. Not much looks great right now. Um, Link at 17 now. I didn't look at the miners, but man, I do not think the miners are where it's at personally. I think there's like trades you take in the short term. It's like the Coinbase setup. You either take the short term trades or you just hold this till 2025, you know. And that's that. How's our regional banking friends doing? Oh, look at that. Down more on the day. Unfortunate. What about this was the other one nobody was really talking about. This is a Staten Island bank that was down big. I think they have a bunch of commercial real estate on their book. Not as bad as this one. New York Community. There was a bunch of like justification that because of regulations they have to hold more reserves, and because they have to hold more reserves, the dividend is down and they lost a bunch of money. It sounds like nonsense to me, but you know, maybe we'll see if the FDIC is busy this weekend or not. Mola Soul, you're telling me Mola wasn't this amazing chart? I don't think you want to ruin the vibes from that we got from this chart. Okay, I can't pull up any other Mola. This is the best chart I've seen in months. Okay, this chart looks amazing. All right, last one for Ben. Ben Kronk. Metis. Take a look. Hopefully you know what I'm going to say. You know, it's not like I come out here with some mind-blowing galaxy brain analysis every day. Most of the time, I just say the same stuff. You know, so what am I going to say here? I'm going to say there was an excellent entry at 15. The cloud has no clue where this is going, okay? It just says, look, now's a good time to take this trade. That's it. This could have easily played out like it did at 25. It could have just gone nowhere, right? But it didn't. It kept going. Excellent. Up here, I would not touch this. Because again, you're seeing head and shoulder vibes, right? You're seeing reversal vibes. Now, you could argue Kijun bounce. Okay. I just think, you know, this thing, again, read the room a little bit. It was up over 1,000%. Probably take profit. If this were me, not financial advice. Not financial advice. Okay. Don't come at me. But if this were me, I would take profit and, you know, deploy the money somewhere else. Just because it's up 1,000% in less than 3 months, right? So realistically, I don't care if they, you know, cured cancer. The move is done in the moment, right? The move is done. The move is done. Last chart. Speaking of curing cancer, what if we cure obesity? Chat. What is the Eli Lilly? I don't even know. It's Eli Lilly, right? LLY. Looks eerily similar to that Mola chart we were looking at, by the way. Another biotech. Looks similar to Nvidia. This one at least had several TK crisscrosses. All right, by several I mean one. But it's got everything. You know, this is a great case study in the cloud. It has the initial breakout, TK crisscross, right? So we're like here on the crypto side. And then it has Kijun bounce, Kijun bounce, Kijun bounce, Kijun bounce. And now up here, div-wise, maybe a div. But you could also probably just put a channel on this, I'd imagine. It's a little parabolic, but I don't know. Definitely got to be careful up here. It's late stage, right? Late stage. What's up, Rainbow? All right, that's all I got. That's all I got to me. Yeah, this is the company behind Ozempic. One more before I leave, please. Please, says Steven. Okay, fine. Last one. Matthew, to answer your question about flows, I'm pulling it from a couple different places. The source is on the graphs. If you look on the graphs, it's either, thanks Keith, it's either Bloomberg data or BitMEX guys or this other random account that does the calculations. I just don't have the Bloomberg terminal to look at the data every day, so I kind of have to rely on someone else. No, I did not look at Aave. Aave looks like junk. Sorry. Flare. I mean, it looks fine. Is this AI? It would help me if I knew what this stuff was, because then it would make more sense. This looks like it's probably an AI play or something, just because it's kind of following the AI charts. It looks okay. Doesn't look bearish. Neutral. Not a super pretty chart. Looks fine. But again, like, if you're in here from the Kumo breakout, you're up 80%. That's pretty good on a piece of garbage like this, right? All right, officially last one. Never heard of it. Equation. Chat, help me out here. Does this look like distribution or continuation? What do you think? What do you think? You tell me. Does this look natural? This looks like a Ponzi unraveling. Not bullish. I hope you're not. I really hope you didn't buy this at the top. I really hope. Is this like some algorithmic something? Maybe that's what this is. Looks real bad. looks like it's going to zero. No, it does not. Doesn't look like anything I would want to touch. I'd be afraid of it because it looks like some issuing bug or algorithmic something. I don't know. Not for me. At this point, check and just make your own alt. Exactly, Mustafa. You can go on Solana and do whatever you want. Six Boogers says he's all in. Equation wrap teeth. All right, that's all for this one, guys. Give me a like, dislike, all that fun stuff. Might be recording with Ledger tomorrow. I don't know. He's been busy IRL, so we haven't really been recording. That's all for this one. Root for the BTC. I know exactly none of you are probably holding BTC based on your requests in the chat, but root for BTC. For the orange coin. All right, talk to you guys later. See ya.